Hey, so last week we talked about raising money for Scott, and Scott's Feeding the Heroes. And Ray and I were trying to get our calendar together this week so I could shave him and everybody could donate 20 bucks. It just didn't work out with our schedules and the weather. We're going to mask up and do it outside, try to be as safe and as we possibly can. It looks like we're going to do that next Wednesday if weather holds, so we can do it outside. So we'll keep you posted on raising money. We've committed to donating $500, Scott. So through everybody here, each one can raise 500 bucks. So
can we also have a link to, if we want to donate ahead of time?
Yeah, you can do that. So Kristen will get that out to everybody through the Facebook page or somehow through the chat or somehow. Hey, Cody, can I just talk about Zoom a little bit? So Scott and Bruce and Stephen and Matt was in my group and we were talking about Zoom. Let me just share a little bit about Zoom because this will be helpful. Because with Zoom, it's really hard to hide. So write some of this stuff down. You're going to love this. These are some insights I've taken through doing a lot of these meetings. Yesterday, I did a Zoom conversation. There was a guy from Ukraine, and he was talking about how this is impacting the economy of Russia. So it's just really, so with Zoom, time is really important. You cannot hide being late on Zoom. When you're on Zoom and it's 10 o'clock call and you're just looking at the clock and the person's late, it just, you can't hide that. So time is really important when you're on Zoom. And on Zoom, you cannot hide if you're not prepared. You absolutely have to be prepared for the meeting. You got to be. And the viewers know if you're not fully present. So that's a third thing. Like when you're on Zoom, because I'm looking at you right in the eye, and it's weird if we're in person and I just stare at your face and don't look away, you're like, that's creepy. But on Zoom, I'm looking at my screen, looking at you in the eye, and I can tell if you're distracted, looking at your phone, looking at the clock, looking at something out the window or whatever. It's really, really hard to hide if you are not fully present, just because how easy it is to look you in the eye the entire time. And everything on Zoom is highlighted. Everything on Zoom is highlighted. So bullshit goes neon. Like when you're on Zoom, and if you're bullshitting someone, it just goes on neon like crazy. So Zoom is not a good medium if you're not prepared and you're just like winging it. Like sometimes in person you can just like, oh, I'll just wing it. Can't do that. Can't do that on Zoom. So anyway, Cody, I just thought we were talking about that in our other meeting and I'd share those ideas with you. I'll turn it back over to you. Thanks, Cody. So don't bullshit us. Don't bullshit us, Cody, because it's going to be boom, neon for everybody else.
Damn. Darn it. Oh, man. All right. Good morning, everybody. We're trying some new things. So if you log on to our Zoom call early, we're having breakout rooms in the beginning and we're having breakout rooms at the end as a way to continue to get people to connect with one another. I want to pass it on to all of you in the group. Is there any wins or events or shares that you have that you want to come up? I know Rock mentioned Ken. I'd like to just take maybe a few moments here and just of silence and prayer, whatever you feel comfortable with, and just pass that on to Ken. He had a kidney transplant and he's working to try to come back from that, and he's having some complications with it. So if you could just keep him in your thoughts and your prayers, I think that would be, he'd really appreciate that, and just maybe send him a note or a text, give him a call. Goes a really long way as you're going through some stuff like this, especially in a time like this where we're really isolated from one another. He's been a long-standing member of Freedom One and has lots of wisdom and value he shared. So if we just take the next couple moments here of silence, be greatly appreciated. All right.
I think Stephanie Smith-Howard also could use our thoughts and prayers as well.
Definitely.
Thanks a lot, George. You're absolutely right. She's battling cancer right now, going through some chemo treatments, and she's got the utmost positive spirit.
She's 80 pounds.
She is.
Wow.
Yeah, but she is not doing well at all.
Yeah. So let's reach out to her as well. And just continue to share that. Any wins or shares, if you have one, you can private message me in the chat so I can make sure that I call on you. Otherwise, if you unmute yourself and just want to share with the group, love starting off Thursdays with some positive focus and wins from the group of what people are doing. Anybody got any shares or wins they want to share this morning?
Hey, Cody, I do. I finished up my my seminars this past week, and it was fascinating for me because the first time I ever did that, and everything Rock you just said about Zoom is really true when you're presenting, in particular when you're, if you're not prepared, forget it. But I got two. We haven't booked the deals yet, but I've got two coaching / speaking engagements when we get the other side of this that came directly because they attended that. So
Awesome.
I'm
Good job,
excited,
Matt.
and thank you for those that did attend. We had a number of the Freedom One people that were there as well, and I'd love to hear their thoughts if they feed back to me. So thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Matt. Congrats.
Thanks.
George, you got a win?
You got to unmute yourself, George, and then share your win with us. George's win is just the fact that he could figure out how to get on Freedom One through Zoom.
I got to tell you, I do a lot of webinar learning. The other thing is using technology with different insurance companies and having to find the little nuances that go along with it. And it has self-pride thinking I can actually work through technology and figure stuff out, but also to uncover things that the programmers never thought about.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's helping the whole industry by people having to do things that they're not used to. And then they find things out like a little kid learning, they're always asking why.
Yeah.
And that has really opened my eyes to a way of doing business, even though business to business is a little bit more difficult unless you can be in someone's physical presence. A little.
All right. So Cody, so let's do one more quick win. George, thank you for sharing that. Just a quick win, if anybody has one, and then we'll jump on to our business showcase.
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just like to thank everybody for their response last week regarding my signage, Spread Happiness project.
Yeah, great.
I posted that on Freedom One as well. So there's 3 ways that you could help. One is obviously to donate. The second is suggesting a placement of the sign, whether it be in a business or a trail. And the third way, of course, becoming a super spreader. Help me out to disseminate all the signage. So I think this is a great idea. I really wanted to really spread throughout the county. Thank you.
Love it.
I love it, John, but you're going to have to define super spreader because there's some people are going to
super
jump
spreader is a person that is a person that actually helps disseminate the signage. So
I totally get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Cody, go ahead.
Super spreader. I think that's going to be our breakdown today, John. I love it. So,
Super spreader.
just to remind.
One thing, May, John, go on and change your Facebook. It says supper spreader. I'm not joking. It does. So just take out one P because I've been spreading supper since I saw that.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, he was hungry.
You guys are funny.
Noted.
Oh, it really does. I'm not trying to be funny. It says supper spreader.
Well, I did that last night, so I was getting a little tired.
Okay.
And hungry.
All right, so just a reminder, the Freedom One Facebook group, if you have an event or something that you want to share, please put it in the Freedom One Facebook page. It's a great way to share all this stuff. We don't have time to get through everybody's wins and events here. So again, we want to share the wins. If you have an event, please direct people to the Freedom One Facebook page and post your information there. Also, for all of you on here, as we have new people and the people who have been here forever, it's really easy to be like, oh, I know John, I know George, I know Paul. But a lot of the new people coming in don't know everybody. So let's make sure we utilize the Zoom chat to post your contact information so that people can get a hold of you. And then also in the breakout rooms, when you do your smoothie introductions to one another is a great time and place to share that.
Cody, I need to point out you forgot Ringo. You had George, Paul, and John.
That's way before my time, Tim, so I know what you're talking about.
Oh, Lord.
So we have the business showcase. This is something new that we're doing. And this month we are highlighting Fiorelli Graphics in Paul Fiorelli. Paul has been a longtime member of Freedom One. He's been very just valuable, beneficial, and added a lot of value to the group. And one of the ways that we are recognizing him as the Freedom One team goes to his business, we record video footage, we put that video footage together and we give it back to him so that he can help promote his business. And we also want to share it here within the group. So we're hand selecting a business every single month for people that are a part of this group to do that. And I'm going to turn it over to Bruce, and he's going to play a short video that we put together for Paul Fiorelli, highlighting his business and all that he has done. So, Bruce?
Cody Bronfeld. A Cody
Yeah,
Bronfeld,
so-
I love it.
I can't take any credit for any of that. That's all of Kristen for putting that together and editing and building that. So she did a great job. There's more videos. We were at Paul's. We spend about an hour with them capturing content. Kristen edits it down into 4 videos, and we're going to share one of those a week. They'll be on the Freedom One Facebook page. We'll also be giving those to Paul as he sends those out. And as a reminder, you don't want to forget, we are open. Paul is doing free posters, and otherwise he's doing other banners and larger things at cost for everybody. So make sure you see him for all of that.
I just
Great.
want to add one thing if I can, Cody. What
Yeah.
other network group would put together any kind of video like that to help promote your business? I want to really thank you. And I think the Freedom One band with Rock on the guitar is terrific. That really was great. But thank you very much.
You're welcome,
You're
Paul.
welcome.
Love your sense of humor. Hey, we have some new folks on the group here. I think somebody said Jen was going to be with us with Dynamic Speakers. Jen, are you with us? Can you unmute and say hi if you are?
I'm here. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Say hi to everybody if you will, please.
Hello, it's great to meet all of you. My name's Jen. I'm a business and speaker coach, and excited to get to know your community and love what you're doing already.
Yeah, don't hold Paul against us, okay, as you get to know us.
And Rock, I don't mean to correct you, but it's engaging speakers, but you were close.
Hey, Tom.
Hi there.
Hey, Jen. So welcome to the group here this morning. The challenge that we're going to have is how do we get to know new folks here? So we're going to do breakout rooms. You get to know 4, 5, 6 people in your breakout room. But your goal is to help us figure out how to get you connected with everybody here. So welcome to Freedom One, Jen. Our
Thank
goal
you.
is to help you grow your business and be wildly profitable. We want this to be a place where it's very comfortable to talk about serving others and being wildly profitable. So welcome to the group.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Smoothie. Cody, you want to just talk about Smoothie real quick? Because we're going to do
Yeah.
that.
So one of the things I want to highlight here, so I met Jen through Tom. Tom is been coming and joining us here on Freedom One Live, and I took the time to get to connect with Tom outside of this group. Tom and I had an awesome conversation. If you haven't met with Tom, you should. Lots of value he has to add, and also a really unique way of how do you follow up with somebody to let them know who you are, what you do, and get referrals. So I'd highly encourage you to connect with Tom. Tom connected me with Jen, had an amazing conversation with Jen. She has a group, the Engaging Speakers, that she runs, and very, very powerful group that I'm excited to learn more about. I invited her here to Freedom One, and the whole idea is that we continue to connect each other and bring new people to the group, right? We want to grow, and the way that we do that is we continue to build and develop our networks. So I encourage all of you, if you know of somebody, to continue to encourage them to join us for the group, to come check it out, what it's all about, and to make sure that we're connecting with each other outside of the breakout rooms, one-on-one over Zoom, or however you feel comfortable. Jen, I'm gonna have you ask you to put your contact information into the chat, please, so that people know how to get a hold of you if they'd like to connect with you further, just as everybody else is doing as well. But we do have an acronym here, and it's called SMOOTHIE. We started with smooth, and Rock had to add an I-N-E because he loves himself some food. We won't ask him how much he's lost during this COVID time.
I'm up 4 pounds. Not good.
Well, that's not too bad.
Not bad.
So SMOOTH stands for simple, memorable, outstanding, outperforming, thorough, happy,
intentional, and excellent.
So that's a lot to remember. How in the heck do you fit in and share with somebody what that is? But Kristen's been posting the card of the template. So if you want to continue to work on crafting your message and making that impactful of how you can share in a condensed manner to let people know how they can refer and work with you best, that is a great template to do that. So make sure you download that and continue to work on your SMOOTHIE. And next up, we have our business share. So we want to make this the first part of Freedom One all about you and continuing to promote your businesses. As Rock talked about, this is about serving others and being wildly profitable. And we want to make sure that we can continue to help you do that. So our business share today is Herb Levin. Herb is with First Eagle Mortgage, and he's going to rock the house with us today here. So Herb, you're up, my friend.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
The topic I really want to talk about was mortgages, past, present, and future. What happened before, where we are today, and what will be going on. In the past, 1700s, 1800s, 1900s, mortgages were typically, you could get a mortgage 50% down, and it's a 5-year balloon. You had to pay it off or renegotiate. The Big Depression, 1929, happened. Banks failed. They would not renew the mortgages, obviously. Lots of people lost homes, farms, etc., all over the country. Huge problems. In 1934, Congress created FHA to stabilize the mortgage business. It was the first time they had 30-year loans. Before that, it was always shorter term. Okay? That typically stabilized, still had a problem in the 1930s. Then 1938, Fannie Mae was created to further stabilize the mortgage business. Again, they would guarantee the loans. They don't do them themselves, but they guaranteed them through the government. It's a government entity. We went into then Second World War, 1941-45. 1946, Veterans Administration came out with their program, which is the greatest program in the world. No money down, no mortgage insurance. It's a terrific program for anybody that's ever served. Then went into, obviously, Vietnam in the 60s. In 1970, Freddie Mac was chartered, which also helped stabilize. Again, it was getting too many loans for Fannie Mae to handle in the country, so Freddie Mac came on. 1980, we had the S&L problems. You may remember some of those in Texas. A lot of banks failed due to Congress. Congress loosened the reins, and which have to continue to do so. 1993, during the Clinton administration, there was a committee formed, and the mandate of the committee, how do we get more people to buy homes? Well, every succeeding government after that kept doing that, kept finding ways to get more people. And then it led to our hysteria in in the early 2000s, 2005, 6, and 7. I think many of you remember what happened with that. And so that continued. I'm trying to rush through this. I only have 10 minutes, so bear with, I'm rushing.
7.5 minutes.
So I'll continue on. So anyway, we had the whole problem in 7 and 8, and everything went kaplooey, really, in the mortgage business. A lot of homes, people went to foreclosure, huge problems all over the country. Okay. In 2011, Dodd-Frank was passed by Congress to rein in these wild loans. Okay. Things were quiet. Things kind of got back to a semblance of normalcy. Huge number of foreclosures, which the attorneys in the group can attest to, for the next 4 or 5 years that were going on with the remnants of that. And beginning of 2018, the total amount of purchases and refinances were thinking they were going to get smaller. The bulb was going to get smaller. Well, what does Congress do? What do the banks do? Well, let's get some more people to buy homes. Let's get more people to refinance. Okay, so the range started getting a little looser. Came out with some of the programs of no doc, low doc that I've talked about, no tax returns. Then at the beginning of this year, 2020, things were fairly calm, peaceful. Everything was pretty steady. Things were going fine. Rates were low, still low. And then, of course, the COVID-19 happened almost 2 months ago, and things just went berserk. The bond market, which determines rates, there's a disconnect. Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew what was going to happen. Lots of lenders left the market. Lots of these lenders that were doing the no doc loans, low doc loans, have pulled back. Okay, I lost 6 of them in one day. Okay, wow. They just stopped doing business because they couldn't tell if their loans would be securitized, if they would be able to sell them. And that's happening now, slowly coming back. A couple of them have come back in the market the past 2 weeks. So that's going on. And the biggest problem, frankly, are the jumbo loans over 510,000, because they're not guaranteed by Fannie and Freddie. Very few lenders want to do them because they're just not sure what's going to happen. So, and I don't know certainly what's going to happen with the virus and everything else. People are still doing loans. The big issue now, the first time, 2 questions I ask when somebody calls me is, are you working? Can't do a loan if you don't have income coming in. And secondly, do you have a forbearance? So have you asked for a forbearance? In other words, a payment deferral. If you have that, we can't do a loan. So there's a couple of things very different. Now, due to the virus and all of the issues of people not wanting to get together, there's something called RON, Remote Online Notarization. What is happening, and Illinois is late to the party, was that you can close a loan, purchase, sitting in your home. You have to have a camera, and a notary will be watching you sign the documents, okay? So you don't have to be with anybody. In fact, it's gotten to the point at the title companies, they don't want anybody there. So the only person they want there is the individual signing the documents. And they also have drive-bys where you sit in your car, they bring the documents out to you, you sign them, then they come back out and pick them up. So very different. This is unusual. I've generally, in the many 20 years I've done this, I've never missed a purchase closing. I don't go anywhere. I'm sitting in my office. From my standpoint, it's great, but it's very disconcerting because I like to talk to everybody. So that's 2 things. Technology is zooming ahead. There's also something called blockchain technology, which is a whole different program, which is going to impact titles and how they are recorded by county records. It may eliminate some of the issues we have with titles being, quote, stolen, which they have been over the years because they're not being recorded. Or somebody comes in and says, oh, I just bought this place and here's the documents, okay? Probably not going to happen with this type of technology. And that's it, what's happening. I don't know, we don't know, nobody knows in the mortgage business. As I said, things are settling down a little bit. People are coming back in the market, and rates are terrific. They are really terrific right now, really back to historic lows in the low 3s for a 30-year fixed. Okay.
That's great.
So anyway, and that's it. Herb Levin, First Eagle Mortgage.
Great. Thanks, Herb.
My
Great job.
pleasure.
Yeah, great job.
All right. Thanks a lot, Herb. We appreciate you and sharing the history with us. Check out Herb if you need to get a mortgage. Great guy to do so. We got several in the group as well that are all amazing. So next up, we have our community enrichment section, and this is where we want to add value to you personally, professionally, help you continue to grow yourself and your business. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Scott Adams, who's going to give us an update of what's going on with the chamber.
Thanks, Cody. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I have a little problem with the volume on this computer sometimes. But, well, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. I ran across a little piece I thought would be interesting for you to hear today. It's called 5 Acts of Kindness During the COVID-19 Pandemic. Number 1 is giving impacted business free advice. Many businesses affected and hurting from the coronavirus need help, but they don't know how to and where to find it. So where we've played a role in this is we've had several conversations with many of our members and other businesses that aren't members of the GLMB, and helping them understand some of the grant programs out there, working with the SBDC and Mitch and things of that nature, and just helping them guide them through some of these tough times that they don't understand. The second is sharing links to government entities and other relief ideas. We connect startups. Had a conversation the other day with a lady that has been working on opening her business for the last 6 months, and now she's at a point where she could open it, but because she's not a type of business that can, now she's having landlord problems. So we're helping her get through that problem. We actually got a meeting with the landlord on Friday on her behalf to see if we can resolve some of those issues for her. As many of you know, we started a GoFundMe campaign. My numbers are probably off a little bit on this. Carol, you can maybe chime in on this. But as of today, we've raised close to $14,000, and I think we've done somewhere in the neighborhood of over 600 meals to our first responders, and we've got several lined up for this week. We got more coming next week as well. Tipping essential workers. I know Ray's a big advocate for this. He talked about it at the board meeting the other day. Not just, you know, our focus has been on our first responders because they're on the front line, but you know, you run into the people that the restaurant people that are really struggling at this point in time. Most of our restaurants are probably 75 to 80% off in their volume. And it's really tough. And so consequently, when I do a curbside pickup or a pickup, I make sure that I give that server or that person that's bringing it out an extra $10 because most of these people are really, really hurting. And Ray's example was doing the same thing with the folks at the grocery stores and places like that. You know, they're in a way very much first line providers as well. So make sure you take care of those folks as well. Kind words and support from customers. We've had a lot of our members, you know, just thank us for the things that we've done. And then in turn, I have to turn around and thank our villages and to a certain extent, our legislators and the help that they've given us on things like that. So, you know, it's a time that it's a very difficult time. Obviously, it's something we've never gone through before, but you know, that kindness goes a long way. And when we get on the other side of this thing, those are the things that people are going to remember. So a few things coming up today. We have our Mirrors lunch at 11:30. Our host restaurant will be Mambo Italiano, and our 3 Wintrust banks are going to be the presidential event sponsors for that event. We also have a virtual happy hour tonight at Cafe Pomigliano, cocktails with Karen from 4 to 5. Tomorrow, Conversations for Success, 8 o'clock. It'll be a Zoom meeting, and our guest speaker is our own Paul Fiorelli. So we're looking forward to that. Also at 3 o'clock today, I'm going to be testifying in front of the House Economic Recovery Committee. So that'll be kind of interesting. I don't know where that's going to go, but it should be enlightening from what Mary Edley Allen tells me. So, but as always, I've got a quick little quote for you. Success seems to be connected with action. Successful people keep moving. They make mistakes, but they don't quit. You guys stay well.
Thank you, Scott.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Really good job. All right, so a lot going on in the chamber. Check out the website for all the upcoming events. They got a lot going on, as you can see, serving others as well as continuing to offer value and ways to get engaged. Another thing that we do here is we have our marketing spotlight. We want to continue to give you ideas, thoughts, tips, and tricks of how you can continue to market yourself and your business. And Steve is going from Market Sparks is going to be talking about that.
All right. Thanks so much, Cody. I'm going to share my screen here. So in this marketing minute today, I'm going to talk to you about referrals, the challenges and the opportunities to ignite your referral business. So overwhelmingly, when we talk to businesses, always the number one way people say they grow their business is through referrals. We all love referrals, but there's some definite challenges with that. And you can see on the screen there, they're not predictable, they're not consistent, and they're not scalable. If anybody's figured out a way to make those three things go away, please share. But the data tells us that things are really changing as well. So 75% of people over 40 trust referrals. What that means is if I am in need of a painter and one of you tells me to call a painter, I'm more than likely going to pick up the phone and call that painter. However, 75% of people under 40 do not trust referrals. My son's a perfect example of that. I've given him people he should call on, and he just chooses to do his own research. The challenge really lies in the fact that 34% of projected spend in 2020 is going to be people under 40. So, you really need to understand how we can get in front of this and get our customers to refer other customers. And there's a pretty simple way to do that. There's something called Net Promoter Score surveys. You may or may not be familiar with what this is. It is the number one way that companies big and small gauge customer loyalty. It's been around since about 2003. And it's based on a single question to your customers. And that question is, you've probably all gotten this before. How likely are you to recommend us to a friend or a colleague? And the responses are offered on a 10-point scale. And the way the calculation works is it's number of promoters minus the number of detractors divided by the number of respondents times 100. So the way this works is people who score you a 0 to a 6 are considered a detractor. They're likely never going to refer you and might not even do business with you again. 7 and 8s are considered passives. You can often turn a 7 and 8 into what you strive for, which is a 9 or a 10, which is considered a promoter. So the way you can build, and there's a lot of software programs out there to do this for you. One I love is Delighted.com. You can actually likely make use of the free version. But what you can do with this then is build your referral program. And the way you do that is you take your 9 and 10s, your promoters, and it's the right ask at the right time. So ask customers that have had a good experience with you. Go to them with an offer. So say, for example, you have a customer, your customer value is $500. So if they refer a customer to you, you're going to get $500 out of that in some way, shape, or form. We'll offer that person a $100 Amazon gift card or Target gift card. Offer them different choices because we've experimented with this a lot, and you'll find that different people get struck by different things. So I hope that's helpful to you. Next week, I'm going to talk a little bit more about customer journey mapping.
Great. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. Hey, Ryan, are you ready to do the ultimate resource today? You have 9 minutes to just knock our socks off, make us feel really important.
And you got me jumping from one screen to the next, but yes, I am, Rock. Good morning.
We can hardly hear you, Ryan.
Steve, you're still sharing your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Ryan, go ahead and jump in. Just make sure we can hear you.
Well, I'll talk as loud as I can. I'm delighted to be here this morning and wanted to share some thoughts. There's a lot of discussion about going back to the new normal and what that's going to be like. And you should have returning to normal with my logo on the screen now.
We do.
We good?
Yeah.
Okay. What I'd like to address is going back to the new normal is going to be interesting. And for those of you who've heard me talk about September 11th, September 12th and the days and weeks and months afterwards in the Pentagon was us returning to a new normal. And we were overcoming a very discrete but open-ended traumatic act that changed the way we did business, the way we operated. Heck, we didn't even have office space for a while. And I was emergency essential, so I was one of the first ones back into the building and got right busy, got to work, much like the essentials today, the people who are out there working. And when you're in that capacity, you're so busy doing your job and taking care of things and taking care of people, you lose contact with those who are in a different place, in a different space, in a different time. And my day one was September 12th. Other people that I worked with and cared a lot for and trusted and needed as part of my team, they didn't show back up till the 14th, 15th, 20th, 27th. And that was their day one. Their first day back into the Pentagon, I had already moved on downstream. And getting them through that initial hump.
Did we lose him? Or is it just me?
On site and a new way in. I can see. Anyway,
Ryan, you are cutting in and out. Can you just move your phone around or see if we get a better reception?
I'm pretty much fixed here.
Okay.
Rock, I'm very sorry. I'm cutting. All I was going to say, and the slides, I'll be happy to email them out. But as you all move forward, opening up your businesses, you're going to go back with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. Understand that not everybody's going to have that same enthusiasm and energy, and your energy and enthusiasm is going to have to be a dialogue rather than an expression. You're going to have to be compassionate and empathetic with people because they're going to be in different spaces, in different places, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Even though this is not an event like 9/11, it is an event like 9/11 because we didn't know what the next shoe was that was going to fall and what the impact was going to be. So patience, moving forward and opening your business and engaging with people is going to be very key. Also, consistent communication. And when you're talking to your team internally, when you're talking to your customers, when you're talking to your community, you're going to have to use the same words and the same messages. You can layer them and you can put them different nuances, but there has to be a consistency in those messages or you're going to lose people and violate trust. Next, and this is the hard one for me. I've got a very high tolerance for a lot of things as far as physical risk. What is the safe condition? What is a safe condition for you may include wearing a mask and gloves, but that might not work for somebody else. If you have somebody who is just not ready to make the commitment to come back to work, you're going to have to work with them and be very patient, go back to that consistent communication, and do the right thing. And the last thing I want to unfortunately share is we need to prepare for what's next, whether it's another recurrence and spike in coronavirus or something else. There is something else that's going to happen. That's one of the truisms of history, is that there are going to be consistent changes that we're going to have to adapt to. And the good news is we adapt to them and we overcome and we do better. The last thing is I've pretty much turned off my TV and I don't watch social media for news. I don't watch broadcast TV. I'm collecting my information through trusted sites that I read, and then I do selective watching. And that's one of the things that I'd encourage you. Take information from good sites that have good reputations that you can trust. And if it sounds good, too good to be true, or if it makes you feel good about your opinion, that's a good indicator that it's a challengeable opinion. Now, I really apologize for the bandwidth problem. I got 3 people working off of a Wi-Fi system here at the home office. My slides will be available, I hope, after this is over. The one thing that we are doing is free weekly leadership lunches. Goes back to what Scott mentioned about giving something free to your clients and your friends. They're no obligation via Zoom, and we're talking about leadership and how to best communicate with people. And I'm also running a series of special workshops to help people develop a personal leadership philosophy. That's great for a leader, knowing who you are and how to express your.
I think we lost.
Team and your clients, and have a real neat and fun. I'm sorry?
I think we're losing you here, Ryan. You're just, at least on my computer, you're coming in and out. Why don't you give us a thumbs up, like give everybody a Ryan a thumbs up and thank him for his contribution here today. You did a really good job. One of the things I'll share with you, Cody and I attended some of the free lunches as our schedule allows, and I would just encourage you to connect with Ryan to get on the free lunches that he provides, and then he puts you into breakout groups. Great way to meet other people. So thank you, Ryan, for your contribution today. We appreciate that. One of the thoughts I have right before we jump into our Zoom rooms that we go to is what I've shared with Cody here at the Trinnell Finance Group. We're not going back. There isn't any going back. We're in the land of in between. We're going forward, and it's time to go forward. The future is being created, and you don't want to be left out. The messaging to our team is we're coming back to the future. We're reassembling our team next week, and then after Memorial Day, we'll be back here in some way that makes sense and still working remotely. But the messaging is we're coming back to the future. We're coming back, reassembling at the office to create the future. And that to me has better messaging, or just a better mental construct than we're coming back. We're not coming back. There is no going back. The back doesn't exist anymore, but we're coming back to the future to create the future. So if that helps you with a mental construct to think about how you're reassembling your team or how things are looking, I hope that's helpful. So with that, Cody, do you have anything you want to share before we jump into our Zoom rooms and do our smoothies and really connect with people?
No, Ryan's slides are in the chat room, so you can access and download those as you see fit. We'll be bringing everybody back at 8:30, just to kind of bring everybody back here collectively as a group, and we'll be breaking it down. So you'll be seeing your Zoom. Go ahead, Rock.
I was just going to say, make sure that time is really well spent in the Zoom rooms for that 15 minutes, that people really understand your smoothie and how they can help you grow your business and become wildly profitable.
Love it.
Kristen,
You'll be getting invites to the room, so make sure you click on those as you see those pop up so we can get connected with each other here more in depth.
And come back at 8:30. Make sure you come back. I got a surprise for you. Kristen, you're taking us there?
It's coming. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, be patient, just like me. Cody, how many people do we have on the call today?
49.
Hey, Kristen, can you put me back in my breakout room too? I got kicked out.
Hey, Kim. I have to look for your email. You know what? Put your email in the chat. For some reason, I couldn't get something to you.
Oh, my personal email, you couldn't?
I don't know which it was. Maybe it was Money Concepts. I don't know. Well, could you put it in the chat because I want to
Yes.
I want to chat.
We miss Donna Codell.
I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We miss you, Donna.
Everybody have good conversation?
I miss you too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we had good conversation. I had Scott, I had Phil, and Mary Urban. We all tried a smoothie, and we gave them feedback on how their smoothie could be better and really more concise. And hopefully that was helpful for our group, and hopefully it was helpful in your group too. I got to know Mary better, and I got to understand from Mary's perspective how she evaluates whether somebody should refinance depending on their current rate and the rate that they can get. And I would encourage you to connect with her because it's different, me as a CFP, than I thought, and it really makes a lot of sense. So if you have questions on that, Mary will help you with that. She had a great way of describing that.
It's too short, Rock. We need 5 more minutes.
Okay, well, that's helpful. I was watching the time, and I cut off Bill, and I cut off. Somebody's got to moderate it, otherwise it can continue to go on. So
We did well.
Maybe what we can do is send out. Kristen could send out like switch to the next person. Switch to at like every 3 minutes or 4 minutes. Switch to the next person. So it'll help you say, okay, Phil, wrap it up. Scott, you're next.
Rock, I think that's too much control. We're fine. We're all grown-ups. We can handle it.
I think you're right.
We did fine.
You know, Rock, I really enjoy this format. It's an excellent format, that breakout room. It's really a great way of getting to know people a lot better.
Good. Awesome. Thanks, John. All right, Cody, are you back with us? Are you going to wrap?
My name's
I
Cody.
didn't know he was a
I
rapper.
will be here for a while today.
All right. So Cody said we were going to have a close. What was that? Do you guys remember what he said we were going to close on?
We're coming back at the 8:30. He didn't say what we were going to close
No,
on.
at the beginning, he said
Yes,
spreader.
yes, he did. It was something
It was John's third thing.
Spreader.
was it Inseminate? No,
It was part of John.
Super spreader.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
super
it, super
spreader.
spreader.
Super spreader.
Good. Very
spreader.
good, Patty.
Supper spreader.
Supper spreader.
Oh, right.
Supper.
With the
You'll never
with
leave
the
me
2 P's.
on that. You know,
Really?
I'll own that forever. You know.
So
We're losing
John, you were
control, Rock.
talking about,
Oh, really?
John in his Facebook feed that he was talking about says, when you're positive, your immune system is much stronger, right? So you're just you have a stronger immune system. So John wants everybody healthy, and we want them healthy so they have vibrant businesses, vibrant families, vibrant relationships. But we also want to make sure we fight this COVID disease. So if it comes near you or close to you, your body can fight it right away.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's right. So we want to be super spreaders. So we want the Chamber of Commerce to be wildly profitable. We want all of your businesses to be wildly profitable, okay? So the message as you're thinking about going back to your business and how you're going to communicate with others, be a super spreader of this really positive message and just be really out there helping people. So it was our pleasure to be a part of Zoom and to be part of Freedom One. Just think about being wildly profitable, okay? I'm gonna, if you want to stick on the Zoom line, everybody can just part as they appropriate, connect as you feel appropriate on other Zoom connections, but I'm going to share a quick story about a client of mine that if you want to stay on and learn. So thank you, everybody. Hope